How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid that ended up posting a solid green day inside of the market. We did see, as far as for the EV sector as a whole, they had a very strong run up. We'll talk about that further inside of this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on to Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $27.44, being up 6.19%. On the low, it tested $25.68, and then on the high, testing $28.41. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 41.053 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 27.915 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 37.93. And for our moving averages, we are below the 50-day, the 100-day, the 21-day EMA, and as well as the 200-day. So Lucid does continue to be in a bear market, but when we take a look at the price action, it is very similar to what we saw on the Friday. So as far as for the low of the day, as for support, we tested at 25.68, and we ended up seeing a high of 28.41. So what you want to see going into tomorrow, will it be able to test the 200-day here at $29.29? It has been resistance in the past, but if it's able to get above it, then the next move that I want to look for, yes, I want to see us get to the 21-day EMA right here around $30.99. Let's just chalk that up as 31 bucks. And I do see some selling pressure here. This is why momentum and volume is very key for the stock to even move further so it can get to the 32.50 level. If it decides to have a pullback now, of course, you're going to want to see it hold up $27, and if it is unable to do that, then look for another test going to the $25 range. This has been fairly consistent in regards to price action, so this is why having a game plan is very important before going in with an entry. So let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow, and let's see if it can test that $29 area. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for February the 14th, we're going to be focusing on the most notable positions. And one thing that we can see, institutions have been loading up. Again, these are all the filings from the 14th and why I'm not going to go through every single one of them, all right? So we have Wells Fargo and Company purchasing just over 416,000 shares. We also have Royal Bank of Canada went in with puts with a value of just over 1.14 million shares. Scrolling down even further, we have Amundi that purchased 125,764 shares. We also have Treasurer of the State of North Carolina that purchased 97,289 shares. We also have McKinsey Financial Corp that purchased 85,583 shares. Scrolling down, we have Blair, William & Co. that purchased 12,352 shares. We have Hudson Bay Capital Management LP that purchased 171,200 shares. And we can see Investco Limited that purchased just over 1.37 million shares. Scrolling down more, we have Iconic Capital Management LLC that purchased 718,100 shares. And also this is through a value of a put, but we could see a share position here at 235,071 shares. And we also have UBS Group AG that purchased 130,860 shares with calls, and as well as for puts 84,700. So we see institutions are also hedging quite a bit as well. We have Venrock Management VLLC that purchased just under 19 million shares, and we have Man Group PLC that purchased 97,897 shares, and then we have Antara Capital LP with the puts of 200,000 and as well as for calls for 200,000. So they're hedging very clearly there. And as we take a look at some more, we have Balasani Asset Management LLC that purchased, this is what we have in puts, 260,000. And then we have Quinn Opportunity Partners LLC that purchased 166,798. And then we see Tudor Investment Corp that purchased with a put value in shares of 11,500, and Millennium Management LLC with a put value, as you can see, for 300,000 shares. And then you see UBS Asset Management Americas Inc. that purchased 860,746 shares. So wow, like I said, for the 14th, you could definitely see a lot of filings here. We have Paloma Partners Management Company with 140,397 shares, and it just continues. So what this tells us, institutions are bullish on Lucid. So when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 60.24%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 6.96 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 750,000, updated 23 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 8.47%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 10th, it was at 58.08, and then for the close of the 11th being at 60.24. So what this tells us, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see here on the inflow, it's at 184, and then on the outflow, it is at 196. So it was an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 4.92. On the medium, it was 105, and then on the small, it was 74.75. Taking a look at the outflow side, on the large, it was 5.55. On the medium, it was 110, and then on the small, it was 80.40. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, it being that outflow of 0.63. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 2.50%. So yes, this is up there for Lucid. We have to keep in mind, we had a strong run up in the early parts of the trading session, and then it started selling off as the day progressed. But we still ended up finishing green, so that's why going into tomorrow, I'll talk about inside of the final thoughts, but I want to make sure you're clear with the game plan. So let's jump into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid in regards to the price action, once you see the stock trading below $25.60, you're going to be seeing a lot of weakness. But what we want to see towards the upside is it getting above $29.29. This would put it right there at the 200-day moving average. We've seen it tested in the past and then it's been rejected. So this is why it is very important for Lucid to get to $30. They also came out with an announcement in regards to earnings for February the 28th. So I know many investors are going to be keeping a close eye on this, and they're going to have to deliver on their goals if they don't want to see this stock pull back further. But this does present a lot of volatility and can also open up an opportunity to get in at a cheaper price than what you are currently seeing. But if we end up having some more bullish moves happening in the market, so we see more money coming into growth stocks, we saw Tesla did run up quite a bit, almost getting to $900 before selling off. We could see the EV sector had a big strong push right around the same time. So this is why I say you want to keep these plays on your watch list. So if you have Lucid, keep Tesla on your watch list. Probably put ChargePoint and so forth so you see what's happening in the industry as a whole. And of course, since we did have volatility as the day continued, this is why I was saying we had a sell-off. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. Plus, on top of that, we can see institutions are continuing to load up on shares as well. So again, this is a great sign knowing that they are loading up on the dip. But we do know there is some hedging that is going on, but that is not surprising because that's just all a part of risk management. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.